You enter into a room. It appears to be an apartment of some sort. You appear to be in one of the main rooms itself. In front of you lies a man-child. This man-child is recording himself right now, about to review a film. You wonder what film it could be. He has put many behind himself to give it the appearance that he is well versed in films and filmography, that he has seen one or two movies in his time. So perhaps he will be slightly more informed than the average moviegoer. You roll for perception. It is a perfect 20. This man-child's thoughts are now all on view to display.
What? Wait,
he hopes that you watch this video and then watch more of his, even the gameplay stuff that nobody really watches.
No, just roll
he
back
hopes
to
that you will not realize that he hasn't seen quite as many movies as other reviewers may have seen, and he is trying his very best.
Look, just come on.
At the same time, this man who reviews movies finds movies like Free Fire and From Dusk Till Dawn to be unironically enjoyable.
Oh, come on, they are!
Not to mention, the one who calls himself the MovieMan has never seen the original Planet of the Apes.
Oh, come on, that's not even fair.
If it's adventure you seek, you've come to the right tavern.
Oh, no.
We might be...
Well, rude introductions aside, we have Onward. So Onward is an animated film by Disney Pixar that came out in this year of 2020. I'll just jump right in, I guess. Onward was a pleasant surprise. I honestly wasn't sure how much I was going to like the movie. I actually really enjoyed this one, I'm not gonna lie. So much so, but at the same time, I'm conflicted, and I'm gonna have to alter my rating scale for this one, and for a reason that will become apparent. Top down for this movie. It's an animated film, so of course the animation is Pixar. It's 2020. We've come years and years from the original Pixar animated films, so we've come far, and they still look great. They keep trying to push the bar with visuals. I don't think that they did anything too groundbreaking in this one. Everything just looks great. I have no gripes or complaints with how the characters look, how the environments look. Visually, it's Pixar, so no problems there. The director is Dan Scanlon, who his filmography is limited, but he's worked on Pixar before, most notably so on Cars, and not Monsters, Inc., but Monsters University. So he directed those two. He also did the whole Mater's Ghost Tales, but that's more of a short, less of a film. Sound design, audio, great. The voice work, which kind of is going to bleed into acting in my notes on that. Voice work is fantastic. I will say this cast really works well together, especially, of course, the leads. We have Tom Holland and we have Chris Pratt, which both of them have done voice acting work in the past. However, in this case, and there's a bunch of, if you want to entertain yourself, there's interviews and there's behind the scenes footage of these two, but they really do seem kind of like old and younger brother, and so they have this chemistry there where they've worked on films before together, and they've worked both in their respective fields for, years now. So to see them kind of come together, play off of each other, there's kind of that kinship there, and it comes across delightfully onto the actual, onto the screen with the film. So you really feel like these two characters are brothers. Now, as well, we also have Julia Louis-Dreyfus playing the mother, and we have Octavia. We have Octavia Spencer as the Manticore. I will say the mother, I liked her. I like the family dynamic they had there. She was kind of adorable, and she actually played a decent role in the film. I felt like the Manticore overall, she ended up being a little bit underused. I would have liked to have seen more of her, especially because it's Octavia fucking Spencer, who is brilliant at everything she does. Of course, the old compliment sandwich. So let's get into what detracts from this as a film. Well, this is a double-edged sword. So going into this, I'm going to warn you, you're not going to see anything new. This is the standard. A lot of the reviewers have been kind of saying the same thing, but I honestly have this opinion aside from that as well, so I can't really separate myself. I'm kind of agreeing still, but the Pixar formula, tried and true, it works in this, where there's mild subversion in the plot, but overall, the story is kind of about learning how to move on from trauma and grief, or how to, what you thought you never had, you actually had in front of you the whole time, and that's what's made things so great for you, and you're able to realize that, accept that, and move on from things even though they don't quite end out the way you think they're going to end. So in that sense, Onward doesn't do anything new. I will say what it does do, it does very well. I'll give it to that. I was not sure if I was going to enjoy it. When the trailers first came out, I just saw it, and the trailers, and I was like, meh. I just thought, oh, okay, that'll be a movie. But I gotta say, even though, as I said, the formula that we've seen before in Pixar films, especially of this caliber, has already been done, it still worked. So it's a case of it wasn't broken, so there's nothing to fix, and they didn't try to innovate too radically. So it was a stable enough formula, and from there they just kind of took the story we've all seen before, just catered it to this world instead. So I mean, it worked. I was invested. Actually, as this movie progressed, I was having a good time. I laughed out loud several times. I went, of course, to go see with the franchise because we are dragging each other to every movie under the sun now. But we both enjoyed this thoroughly and were entertained. We laughed. We scoffed. We had a good time. And I'll be honest. There's a few moments in this film where like one moment in particular, maybe two, where I was holding back tears like it tugs at the old heartstrings. I wish they would have expanded more on this universe, because the whole premise of the film, not to spoil the plot, but the whole idea is that, okay, here's a world, it's like the D&D paradise, where it's just a fantasy world where they recognize that magic exists, but as time progressed from ye old days of quests and campaigns and whatnot, magic was not easy. Magic was difficult. And so the people in that society, these creatures and critters and monsters, were like, well, electricity. We don't need to use the old wizard over there to light a fire. We can make our own stuff. And then, modern innovation and society and cars and that. And the whole thing, I will say, the message that Onward it brings to the table is a lot less heavy-handed than Zootopia's was, because Zootopia would beat you over the head every other minute with the message, with the various messages that it was trying to get across. At least Onward had a bit more restraint. It's basically kind of a low key, high key commentary on society. So I got it, but I wasn't as bothered by this Disney movie's message as I was bothered by Zootopia. In this established world, I would very much have loved to have seen it expanded. I thought they were going to go more into it. They kind of just give you a cursory look at how the world operates, and then here we go, here's the story. And then as these characters go through the world, all these different unique facets of it are just kind of like shown on screen, not really explained, which I suppose is kind of the old show don't tell, which I suppose I could be okay with, but I don't know. It felt like there was something missing from me, from the world that they were in, and I would have liked to have seen more concepts. And especially after the movie's over, I would have loved to have seen oh, so are we gonna keep talking about magic, or is it just oh yeah, magic happened here, so oh well, nothing to see here, let's move along. I was curious, are we not gonna see more magic going on? Are we not gonna? Nobody's gonna talk about that really. Just gonna. All right. And the only other con I can really think of, if I'm being honest, is I wish there was more character work done for our other two primary characters. We had plenty of work for the brothers, of course, because they're the main characters in the film. Tom Holland's character and Chris Pratt's character, the Lightfoots. Elves, I believe. I think they were elves. But the mother, we had some good moments with her, but I would love to have seen more from her. The stepfather, he was kind of a throwaway joke in the film. You're working hard or hardly working. Like I said before, with Octavia Spencer, the Manticore is a pretty big character in D&D, and I would have thought there would have been even more with the two of them. And they had a little side quest going on to work their way around to help out the two brothers, because of course, mom's got to come in and kick some ass and help out. But I still would have liked to have seen more from them, and I didn't, and that was a little bit disappointing. So to me, I was surprised with how much I enjoyed this, especially there's a couple moments in the final act where I was like, hot damn, this is kicked up a notch. I'm really, really digging this. But that was me the entire film. I really enjoyed this movie, and surprisingly, I could actually see myself buying it when it comes out and watching it on my own free time. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it. And I will say the first act, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to feel about this movie. But as the plot picked up and it went into it, there was some big family themes and some that didn't hit with me, but others, like the whole fatherhood, brotherhood, stuff like that, where I kind of like really clung onto those narrative aspects and was very interested to see where they went with those. So it works very well with what it does. It's just, this is where I had to alter the scale because I'm going to say just right now, Onward, produced in 2020, I give a solid 3.5 out of 5 stars. I was originally going to say a 4 out of 5 star review, near perfection. But if there had only been one or two little issues, like if there had been like one little issue, I would have probably just said 4. But thinking about it, a couple issues that were really digging at me were lack of world building and lack of further narrative and character development for the mother and the Manticore, not just the brothers. Hell, even the dad. I wanted to know a lot more about the dad, and I feel like just what we got was, I mean, it was something, but I would have loved to have gotten more with that. I don't want to spoil anything of what happens in the movie, but I'm just saying I would like to have still had more dad overall. So because of those couple of reasons, like, I can't in good faith give it a 4, but I also can't in good faith give it like a 3 and call it above average. Again, and there's a couple movies I should have kind of altered a bit to match up with this rating system, but this movie is near perfection, so I'd give it like a 3.5 out of 5. It's not just above average, and it's not, oh my god, that was so great, it's almost perfect, but like this was a really good film. It's a fantastic kids movie. It's very entertaining, very engaging. There's a lot of good morals, life lessons, and it's going to be entertaining for kids that are young enough where they can't understand a lot, but the kids that are growing up, and you want to expose them to films or animated films that can be enriching and also give them good life lessons and wholesomeness. This is a great film for them. If you're down for it, go check it out in theaters. It's worth the price of admission, I'd say. Granted, saw it for free, but that's just Regal Unlimited for you. So those are my thoughts, and that's my review for Onward in 2020. It's a really great film. I'd say go see it. It's 100% worth a viewing. Is it a perfect animated film? No. Are there other animated films that are better than this? Yes, but so far for this year, I think it's the best animated film of the year. Call of the Wild doesn't count because just a CGI average mess. Well, Sonic is like live action animated and all this. What did you think? If you agree or disagree, comment below, say something. I know you won't, but feel free to. If you have any requests for me, feel free to shoot them down the old pipeline. I'll try to get around to these movies as I can. Otherwise, stay tuned for my next review of whatever I go see. And goodbye, travelers.